Friends and folks, welcome to Kaiju Lounge, your home for humor, opinions, and nerd shit. My guest tonight is the head of marketing at Loot Studios, one of the most well-known 3D printing subscription companies providing high-quality miniatures for your tabletop fantasy and sci-fi gaming needs since 2020. Their latest project is Malediction, a unique blend of card game and tabletop miniature skirmish with a dark world created by New York Times bestselling author Tracy Hickman that launches as of the video's release right now. It's already up. And I was able to get a sneak peek at the game this past PAX Unplugged. Take a look. Yeah, I mean, look at it. There's a bit of it that's very reminiscent of like Dark Souls and that very dark kind of like very brooding sort of aspect to it. It's still like these sculpts are unique. I'm looking at this big giant thing here. That's a setting. That's not a mini to play with. That's not a fighter, right?
Yeah, that's a scenario.
Okay, that scares the crap out of me. So I wanted to make sure about that.
The scenario, when you set up the table to play the game, each scenario has its own ability as well.
Oh, so it's interactive.
You interact with them.
Oh,
so
wow.
you don't just put the miniatures on the table and stay there just shooting until their enemy comes to you. You have to walk around. You have to do things to enhance the capacity of your.
So this big guy here could still attack me if I'm lucky, right?
Let me show you the card. This is the terrain.
The noxious flesh garden. The word flesh garden already bothers me, but perfect. Please welcome my guest tonight, Silvio Compagnoni. And I want to make sure I did that right this time.
Perfect.
Awesome. Silvio, how you doing, man?
I'm fine, Noah. How are you?
Good,
Pleasure to be here.
God, I'm glad to have you, man. So we did get to meet at PAX Unplugged. I spent a little time in your booth. You kind of gave me the rundown of the game then. Before we get into the game itself, I just want to ask, how was the rest of PAX Unplugged? I think I talked to you probably the Friday, the first day, so you had 2 more days after that.
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, it was our first time there as Loot Studios and bringing Malediction with us. Mm-hmm. We did a couple of game shows in the past, like Spiel, Gen Con, Adepticon, but it was our first time at PAX Unplugged. It was really, really fun. I mean, the place that the game show was going on, the people there was really amazing. We get the opportunity to talk to lots of people, lots of gamers, content creators, influencers. I mean, everybody. It was really intense from the beginning to the very end. I mean, we're closing down the booth, and people say, "Hey, can I take a photo with the Thundersteps? Hey, do you want to sell the miniature? Do you have something for us?" It was really amazing. I mean, we were in love with PAX Unplugged.
That's great. And that was, I mean, you had a pretty big, even compared to some of the other setups there, you guys had a pretty advanced setup there. And yeah, you had that giant Thunder Steps, which is, I believe, one of the seekers in the game, the big sort of one-eyed tusked Cyclops thing that I know for me, I'm walking by and immediately this thing hits you and it's just kind of like, bam, in your face.
Yeah. The team here was very worried about being at those shows, make an impression and bring the professional skills that we have here, since we are in Brazil. We're located in Brazil. So we are out of the grid, let's say, from the shows and the everyday activities for people. So we want to go there and make an impression. And we said, okay, we had a booth. Let's light the booth and let's have some huge miniature here. Just make people, turn their heads when they go through the booth. And that happens every time we put him there. So Thundersteps our little fun moment at the booth, because everybody, they're walking by, they just turn their heads. Yeah. It was really amazing.
I was going to say, was that also because you guys specialize so much in 3D printing? Was that a 3D print? And how long did it take to put that together?
Yes, that was a resin piece. I mean,
resin too. Jeez,
it's resin. we did some adjustments on the file, because you don't have just to rescale this. It has a lot of math on calculating how much you can make it bigger, and then comes the arts department say, hey, we had to add more detail on this, we had to add more detail on that, but yeah, it was 45 days of printing non-stop.
Wow.
And about
over a month.
And about let's say 28, almost 30 pieces. It was you had to print by piece by piece. And after we do that, we have the people from cleaning up and touching up. They're doing all that stuff, and then all of a sudden, one of them said, "Hey, what about if we print the eye of the Cyclops on a clear resin and put some light inside?" I said, "Oh."
Yeah.
And and then Thunder Steps was born. It was really fun. It was fun in the office because we were working, and then all of a sudden somebody goes around with a big hand, printed, and then a mace and a head. So, hey, what's going on here? It was really fun.
Wow. Is that guy now that PAX Unplugged is done? Is that still in the office? Like, you guys have that at the front desk somewhere?
No, it's in US. I mean,
yeah?
Yeah, because we're going to Adepticon, and he's already
fair.
He's already on the move. I mean, he stays in US with all our stuff from game shows because it's easier for us. It's a nightmare to bring that on the airport,
I got to assume security alone is a pain.
Let's go to the radar. Okay, what's that? It was really fun.
So two giant tusks.
Yeah, no, it's just a miniature. Yeah, a big one, right? So
yeah, right.
Yeah, so we went and decided to find a place for our gear and for our stuff. So a lot of Loot Studios miniatures. And Malediction means are already in US, so you just have to move the team to start another show.
Great. Well, let's talk about that a bit because you had mentioned just now that this was a first for PAX Unplugged with you guys, and now you've got this game you're trying to put out there, and I want to get into another rundown of the game. We'll go a little long form of that. But how has the marketing push been? Because again, we're filming this just days before the launch. I'm going to try to release this video on the day that you guys launch on GameFound. But what has, especially you as head of marketing, like what has the marketing experience been with this game as far as getting it out there, getting it to show floors? Has it felt pretty chaotic?
I mean, my background was always on gaming. So before I came to Loot Studios, I worked for 5 years at Simon. So I'm pretty aware of how crowdfunding works. It's chaotic. Right. Everybody's nervous because everybody's excited about to see what's going on, what's going to happen in day one, what's going to happen in day two. So I got some luggage on learning how things works. Also, the team here is very expert on what they are doing. So our head of production, he knows every tiny detail of what he needs to do for an event, for the show, for the production of the box already. So we got a small team, but everybody here had a little bit of experience on what they're doing. But you are a veteran on the industry, you're a newbie on the industry. When the days come, you say, oh my God, what's going to happen? I mean, how many followers? How many? Is the video ready? So we got great stuff here. Everybody was very excited from day one to produce things. So our video team are doing great video for the game. Our dev team are working night and day, doing playtests, doing things, even for other things to come after the launch of the game. So we're very excited. I mean, Loot Studios is 4 years old, okay?
Right.
And everybody here is somewhat connected to a game. Either they play Magic, or they play Warhammer, or miniatures, they play card game, board game, they do all kinds of stuff. So all of a sudden when I say, hey, why don't we do our own game? So let's do it, let's see what's happened. So they get excited and then, boom, Malediction. It's been almost 3 years now on the work, so play testing, working, developing the game. So when we were confident, we said, okay, let's do this, but what can we do now? Let's find good partners and see what's happening. So when we started the production, we already are producing the game, right? We do have production of a few boxes, like we're going to do this first limited edition, let's say, for the first print. And we said, okay, let's partner with Cartamundi. They do the best cards in the business, so let's do with them. GameFound is a great crowdfunding platform devoted to board games, devoted to games. So let's talk to them and use them as a marketing tool as well to reach more people, to find more souls like us, that's connected somehow. And it's been a great ride. I mean, let's see what's going to happen now. I'm talking to you, and my eyes just looking at the mobile. Okay, one more follower. Oh wait, okay, cool.
Yes, you love to see it. Talk to me about the decision for GameFound over something like the more popular one, and even you mentioned coming from Simon and how they've often used. I've got more than enough Simon Kickstarter games here, right? Like, why GameFound over maybe some of these other platforms?
Yeah, we were very aware of what we wanted for us, right? So we know that Loot has its own platform to sell the miniatures, to sell their bundles and things like that, and we do have a lot of followers. But when we were discussing the strategy, we said, hey, what if we add to this layer another layer of expert people that also deals with this kind of public, that deals with board gamers, card gamers, and miniature gamers, and everything in between. So we talked to GameFound, and we saw that they are developing things that is specific for games. They are doing a lot of good campaigns, and they were very accessible. So we said, okay, let's do this. Let's try and see how it works. Because also, no matter that I worked 5 years at company A or 10 years at company B, it's always different. You have to prove inside that you're doing the right thing, that you are thinking the right way for the product, for the team, and for the efforts that we are planning to do along the campaign. So GameFound came as a good choice to say, okay, let's see how it works. Let's see if it works for us, it works for the game, and if we can reach more people apart from what we already reached. So right now the campaign has more than 10,000 followers, which is great for us.
It's awesome.
Exactly. So we are really, really excited. I mean, it's, sometimes when we look at each other, he said, really? So, okay, yeah. So let's see now. And the audience is amazing as well. We're talking to a lot of people, both on the platform, on our communication, and social channels. Everybody is really excited to see the game and how it works. I mean, the feedback, especially from the professional side, like you guys, it's really amazing for us because it gives us the feeling that we are doing the right thing. We are gamers, so we want to think and to stay true to our nature. I mean, before everything, I'm doing something that I really want to take a minute and say, oh, wow, this is so cool. I want to use this. Oh, yeah, the game is really fast. I can play with my nephew. I can play with my friends. I can play with people that knows how it works, a board, miniatures card game, people that doesn't know that much. So it's really, it warms you inside, like when I say,
yeah.
That's something that's really cool. And I've been working with games since the 90s, since 1993. So it's about more than 30 years. And it's difficult for you to have this feeling, to take a look at something and say, hey, this is way cool. I don't mind. It's really nice.
That's awesome. Well, look, I mean, I have even more questions about your background of getting into this, but I'd be remiss if we don't at least talk a little bit about the game. So let's go into it. You mentioned, you guys are comprised of gamers. You named 2 games off the top, Magic and Warhammer, as your inspiration for why not make your own games? And I've seen this so far described as kind of a combination of a little bit of Magic the Gathering, a little bit of Warhammer. Let's talk to the people who don't know, that may be watching this right now. What is Malediction and how does it work?
Okay, Malediction is a blend of miniatures game and card game. So, like I told you, we're all gamers here. Everybody played something. I played a lot of those stuff. I was a Magic player. I do have my collection of Warhammer miniatures as well because I love both of those games. And they said, okay, let's do this. It's really cool for you to have miniatures, walk around, make something really fast-paced and really visual, like walking around and do things and measuring things and rolling dice. That's one point. But we need strategy. We need something that, season the things that's happening on the board. So the best thing for you, it's a card game. You have a bunch of things on your hand that the other player doesn't know anything about, and you can change things really fast. I mean, he's winning, but if you send a spell or you do something else on that influences the miniatures that are in game, this is something really cool. So we start using what we feel that was good and nice and really cool to see in the game from those two pillars. Of course, we do have our own ideas, we do have our own background on gaming, but it's for people that was just walking around. That was our pitch. Say, hey, this is the best of the two worlds. You don't have to tons of boxes of miniatures that you're not going to use, tons of cards that you're never going to use as well. So you have something really fast. Okay, you have those cards, that's what you're going to use. You have those miniatures that you're going to use. It's just a few of them, 5, 6, 10 at most. So you can do it really fast-paced thing. So it depends on what you want to play and how you want to play. Okay, you want to play a fast game? That's easy. Okay, I want something extra. I'm going to put some layers of strategy. There are the cards that help you do that. So you can do it on a more expert way of playing. So that's the thing that we had in mind when creating the game.
Wow. So when you start off, right? Because typically you have the idea, but essentially you're starting off with a blank sheet of paper, right? You are starting off with nothing and having to kind of build this. How do you guys go about that process of building this from scratch? And I know it's been you said it was like a 3 or so year process. I believe it was Relics Untold at one point. You're doing stuff on Tabletop Simulator, right? Like it's obviously been iterative, and so nothing just kind of comes out the womb ready to go. But how do you guys approach this of that trial and error, the finding what does and doesn't work?
Well, I had two answers for that. One of them is pure chaos. You sit down and say, what we're gonna do this. Then comes that's the fun part, because you do have people that really love miniatures and miniature games, and they say, hey, I want this miniature here in game doing this. And the guys who play cards and play board games with more rules and more, more details on what things, say, hey, but to do this, you have to do this, and that. Have to put this. So it's not a one single person design. Of course, we do have our dev team that runs the show. But every time we do here the play test, we talk about the game, we talk about cards. Sometimes it's an illustration that triggers everything. We do have Alvaro, which is our art director and one of Loot Studios' owners. He is amazing when talking about art. He comes with some stuff with us. We say, oh, wow, that's so nice. It's so unbelievable. Can we use it on the game? I said, well, but we just have an illustration. Okay, so this is going to be this, and that. Then comes the lore team. Tiago is our lore master. So he comes, he does the videos for us. He comes and has a deep voice and start talking about what that card could be, what is representative. Then it's something that it's like a magical moment when a lot of creative minds start talking and start discussing, and all of a sudden, boom, it's on the table. I say, oh, wow, my God! So yeah, it's something like that. I mean, it looks like chaos, but that's what happens when you have creative minds working on something. You cannot stop the process. Every time we do that brainstorming, it's not. You cannot say no. You don't have to say that, or you don't do, or you don't go that way. You just let go.
It's a runaway train. You just have to let it go where it may.
Exactly. So, but then all of a sudden, all that chaos dissipates in something really concrete and tangible. Say, okay, it works, or maybe it doesn't work that way. So we try another time, but then it start making sense, and you said, okay, now I have a lore, I have an image, I have an idea, I have a title for that, I have something. And that's it. I mean, it's really cool.
You love it when a plan comes together. Let's talk about the lore aspect of it, because I mentioned it at the top. You guys have a lore master in there, but there's also heavily involvement with Tracy Hickman, who Dragonlance, I believe, right? Has been behind a lot of a very well-known fantasy author. When did you guys was he always kind of on board from the beginning, or were you guys building out the game first and then brought him in? Like, how did his involvement come about, and how did it, in this iterative process you're talking about in building the game, how did it take shape and start changing the trajectory of the design?
Okay, so like you said, we had the first period of the game called Relic and Toad. So when we start creating the game, we're starting creating our idea of what we want for the game. We said, hey, we need something here that backs up our ideas of the game part of it. We need some lore. We need something that is not that difficult and deep, but something that say, hey, I connect with that. This is something that I like. So then that's was the time that Tracy Hickman came on board. Everybody, like I said, everybody here has an experience in gaming or love games or do something. So when we start talking about RPGs, the first thing is that two letter D&D, just like a stamp on your head. So boom, D&D. Say, okay, that will be awesome. What we can do? Who is available, and how it works? We didn't have no idea how to contact people. So can you believe that you have no idea? Say, do you write an email? Does it have a representative? How it works? I mean, well, let's try. So we got in touch with a bunch of professionals to see what we could use, what we could do. And I think what's Thiago, our lore master, said, okay, I'm going to write to Tracy Hickman. So, okay, go ahead. Let's do this. He wrote, so we wait for a while. No answers. Okay, let's start. We start working. We start developing things, and then all of a sudden it comes an email. Hey guys, I'm available. Let's talk. I said, everybody on the table. Okay. Oh. Wow. Let's do this. Because I mean, I was a teenager when I was reading Dragonlance. I was a teenager reading Ravenloft and everything. I saw that the passage of D&D. AD&D, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, that comes around.
Right.
So I was, when you see a movie in front of you and say, oh my God, I'm going to talk to Tracy Hickman. I cannot believe that. Hold up, Silvio, you cannot do that. You cannot do this fan-based stuff. So anyway, so we got in touch with him. He started developing the basics of the lore, the structural things. Like, okay, you have this continent which is passing through a magical moment that's going to be happen this and that. These are the factions that we could develop. And at the time, it was very, very fantasy-like. Like, you had the common creatures like elves, dwarves, humans, monsters, and things like that. And that was the first time that Relics Untold came to be. So we had this, and then. We had a period of the contract with him because we want him to make the basic structure, and we want our team to develop over it because it will be easier for us to discuss here on a daily basis what we want to do or what direction to take. So when we start working on that and we are starting looking at what we had and the feeling that we wanted for the game, it was changing for something more darker and more, end of days things, not that fantasy, but something a little bit darker and a bit, it's the end of the world. And that time Malediction appeared. So we removed the game, said, no, this is Malediction. Malediction is something that happens in this continent, that the chaos and the magic start changing things forever, and people are doomed to live in a world that's not the same anymore. And I said, okay, that's changing. So some things stop making sense, and we are evolving to something else. So we put aside the basic creatures and develop something over that. So we do have our own creatures now, our own races of humans and monsters and things like that, and it got the structural, visual, more compact and more, orientated to what we want for the game. But Tracy did something that is amazing when you have the opportunity to work with a professional like that, is to have the foundation so solid that you can, play around and create things over that and still be consistent and still be really cool and really magical for us to play the game, and imagine the things happening in your head while playing and moving the miniatures around the table.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to be said, right? It's a good writer can build, a great story, but a great writer can build a sandbox, and he kind of gave you this sort of sandbox for you guys to play in and build upon. Was there a particular creature design or character that you guys came up with, or you guys saw in STL form, that was immediately like, that's it, that's our look, that's our guiding light to take us in this direction?
Yeah, when I first take a look at the game, I was looking at it with the eyes of a gamer, not the eyes of the professional. Say, okay, I like to play with this faction, I like those monsters, like this and that, this and that. And then I said, no, I have to think as a professional. I had to understand what the game wants to tell people why they are here.
Yeah.
And when I look at Thundersteps, that giant creature, say, hey, this guy is going to be our boy, the front man of our show, at least for the beginning, because it's impressive. Primal Blood, his faction, it's impressive because it's so raw and so natural things that you see in this chaotic would emerge like a life, very powerful thing. So I think that was the first moment that I said, okay, this is something new. We're working on IP, but Primal Blood, we're going to develop some creatures and some races that will be really, really cool. I mean, it's not going to be the same old, troll, orc, goblin, and things like that, but it's going to be real different, more visceral and more raw. So when I saw that, I said, this is it. This is something that will call attention to everybody. And that happens with the others as well. Like you don't have, in this game, in this world, you don't have any team that is, those are the nice guys, those guys are the nice guys, they're gonna help rebuild the world. No way. I mean, everybody there's a twist on every faction, so this is really, really cool, and we are working on that. We want people to take a look at the faction they like the most, look at the visual. I think this is the first contact that you have. You're gonna see, okay, I like this visual. And then you're going to start learning about what the guys are doing and say, hey, they're really wicked guys. I mean, really, really cool. Very excited to work with. So this is something that we're expecting from the game.
That's great. Let's talk about these factions a little bit, right? So you're starting off with 4, you mentioned. I believe it's Legion of the Fallen, Conclave of the Spheres, Order of the Shattered Throne, and Primal Blood. Can you give a bit of a rundown of each one's play style, what the general vibe, shtick is for each guy?
Okay, sure. Yeah. Like I said, Primal Blood, they are very, connected with nature. They're very aggressive. They're fast-paced creatures that like to, combat on the very first sight. I mean, they don't stay sitting on the bench. Say, okay, let's see what's going to do now. No, they just run and
very
go
push
straight
forward, hit things, basically.
Exactly. So I have a chance to strike. That's it. I'm striking. So
these are already my kind of faction. I love it.
Yeah. So and the visual is also really, it's very primitive. They have those totems. They had some creatures with horns and skins all over. I mean, it's really cool. Then you have the Order of the Shattered Throne. Those guys, they they look like what would be paladins in our world. You know, shining armor, lances, swords, shields, mounting creatures, but they use spells. They are more strategical, you know. So they beat you, but they know how to defend themselves and walk around what's happening on the battlefield. And they were one of the main factions that created or that are involved into this malediction, into what happens to the world. So they want to look back and find the golden age of eons ago, but they are not pure anymore. They are twisted in some ways. And they're very cool miniatures as well. I mean, they're really cool. So then we have the things that most people who like magic is connected to, which is the Conclave of the Spheres. So those guys are those who knows how to deal and work the magic that's on the world right now. They know how to counterspell. They know how to use spells. They know how to walk around you and avoid your attack and attack you from behind and do things like, trying to control the things that's going on the battlefield. So you have the history behind them. There are people who learn and go to search for knowledge to use in war. So they are really more, like those combat magic. Let's say that.
Right.
So they're really cool at that. And finally, the one that I love the most, but it's me. I'm biased to that. Is the Legion of the Fallen, who are those guys who. They live inside the nightmare of the malediction. They walk around those chaotic places, and they use their knowledge and their magic to control not the undead, but death and life. They can make something that connects both worlds, the both world of the living and the world of the dead. So they summon creatures, they summon the undead, and they do have magic that helps them to engage in combat using the environment and people that falling into battle to come back and fight for them. So they are very, those old cultures that in the past they have lots of knowledge, and now they know how to deal with death and to take advantage of that. That's Legion of the Fallen. So I mean, it's a mixture of different play styles.
Yeah.
And different design. So if you pick up the miniatures for the Order of the Shattered Throne, they're really amazing. I mean, they're really classical creatures. You take the Fallen, the Legion of the Fallen, undead, ghosts, decay. So it's something else entirely.
Yeah.
I mean, we believe we had everything for people who wants to see something cool at the table. And there's one more thing. Each faction, we have the 4 different boxes, the product. Each box, it's one faction. And there's 2 seekers, which are the heroes. Like Thunderstep's the seeker, Vorendal's the seeker, Sigurd's the seeker, and so on. We do have a second seeker on each box that uses another faction as well. Like he's a dual faction.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so they can play with different decks. So it's more complex again. So like I said to you, you can play really fast-paced, either Seeker, 5 troops, and that's it. 30 minutes, it's a gameplay. No, I want a dual Seeker, a dual factional Seeker. So, okay, I'm going to use the cards from the Primal Blood and the cards from the Conclave of the Spheres. So you can start mixing cards and doing more stuff. Yeah. So this is something.
So you can mix in. It's not just about they can be in either faction, but you can actually mix and match factions if you have a dual seeker.
Exactly.
Interesting. So is the goal eventually to have enough seekers that there's a combination of I don't know how many combinations that is. I'm crap at math, right? But like, the goal is eventually to have one that's a mix of everybody.
That's the plan. So
Wow.
now each box has 2 seekers. One of them combines with another box. But like I told you, we're planning for expansions. We're planning for more stuff to come. We do have some cool stuff to present during the crowdfunding campaign, and people will see that there's a lot more things to do while playing the game. So this is really cool.
That's great. I gotta say, I feel like you can't call yourself a legion and not be evil or scary in some way. It's such a foreboding word. You can't be the legion of smiley faces. Like, it doesn't work that way. When you guys are building these factions, and this may be a what comes first, chicken or the egg kind of thing. What comes first to you guys? Is it the play style or the concept? Like, do you know you're going to have a heavy-hitting faction, or you know you're going to have a faction of barbarians? Like, what comes first when you're designing this?
I think it works both ways, because, like I told you, we do not have, while working or doing brainstorms, the negative word say, no, you don't. No, you can't. So sometimes you see, I mean, I saw it firsthand, the beautiful images that those artists are creating. And it's so fantastic. Hey, I have no idea what they're going to do with that, because they're so cool. Then the dev team came and said, no, it's okay. We already have something for that. No worries, no worries. And sometimes they say, hey, we got an idea that would be pretty cool. Like, wow, we want a relic that does this, this, and that, and came from the Primal Blood faction. What could represent visually that thing? It is a mace, a helmet, a cape, or a boot, or a belt. What we could do about it. So this is something that we work on a daily basis. We have the creativity to discuss it, no matter what. If you come to me and say, hey, Silvio, I had this picture of me playing with my dog and I want to use this as a card. What we could do with that? Oh, well, we say that this card, you have +1 in tame animals. So if you have an animal in your side, you can do this, this, and that. Oh, no, we're going to do this is mind control thing over creatures on the table. I mean, who knows?
Wow.
We throw everything on the table, and then you get the smart guys, the dev guys. They say, hey, this works, Silvio. That doesn't work. This works. That doesn't work.
Right.
I'm just a marketing guy. I like to come with ideas that I know they're going to throw to the window sometimes. Sometimes they're going to use it. But anyway, the beauty of this is that everybody's connected somehow. We had an open office, so that there's no walls. So we're working on that. So all of a sudden, some guy come here and say, hey, I have an idea. I want to do this, and that. What you say about this, that. Oh, fantastic! So you start working again. Then all guys come here. Hey, we're gonna be at Adepticon. What if we do some pins on and things to give to people? Okay, let's do this. So it's sometimes it's chaotic. But at the same time, we do have discipline to sit down, work, and focus on what we have to do it the way we're presenting now.
Great. The picture of the guy playing with his dog, what faction is that?
Oh, I would put that, let me say, we could be a dual faction card. We could be using this as a Primal Blood and the Conclave of the Spheres. I mean, I would use that.
I like it. Talk about the game itself and the packaging of this, right? Because Loot Studios is, one outside of this game coming out. Primarily, you guys are known for your 3D printing subscription model, right? And so, if you have a resin printer or something at home, you can go ahead, you sign up, you get these STL files and print that out. I live in a tiny New York apartment with a kid, and I don't want him taking in resin fumes, and I don't have much of a choice here. What are the options with this game specifically as far as, not having access to a 3D printer?
So when you get the box, each box contains everything you need for you to play. So if you want to play, you have one box. I want to play, have one box. We play together. You may have 2 boxes, 3 or 4, and you can have everything you need for you to play with your friends or your kid or whoever wants to join you. So in the box, we do have the cards. All cards that are in the game, it's in their faction boxes. So you don't have to, there's missing a card here, I need to buy. So, no, everything is there.
Awesome.
We do have the code for you to download the STL files and print it right away. But we also have on the box the cardboard, the punch board, so you can have all the games and the standees. So I had the board standee that I can use it, put on a base, and use it and play the game right away. So for us, the experience changes a little bit, but every experience is complete. You can play the game using the standees. If you don't want, you don't have to. Or if you simply doesn't have the opportunity to print, you have the standees, you can play it right away. If you want to print, if you don't have space, or like you said, you don't have a way to use that in a safe place with Max and things for cleaning the air, you can go to a company that provides the service. Hey, I had those STL files, could you print it for me? That's all good for us. I mean, we're not worried for you to, oh my God, if I don't have a printer, no, you can go anywhere and print it.
There are options there, but the truth is there's no barrier to entry with this.
None at all. And also, we hope that once people start playing, that they start doing, you can play it like, for fun with your friends and family, but you also can play like a competition, a tournament. Oh, I have my favorite local game shop. I'm go there. Hey, I want to play Malediction here. There's a tournament for 16 guys. So we're going to play that. You can play with the standees. You can play with the printed miniatures. You can play with unpainted miniatures. We do not create any rules for that. You can have fun the way you want. So we don't care if you're using miniatures and I'm using standees. That's it. The fun fact is that the set of cards that you're working on, the army that you prepared, and that's it. So you don't have any barriers on how to play the game or whatever you want to do it.
That's great. You mentioned, the idea of tournaments. You're talking about there's plenty of stuff down the line as far as during the campaign for this thing. I know I had asked you at PAX Unplugged, like, what other factions, what stuff's out the pipeline. I understand you're probably not going to share that just yet. I'm not holding my breath. Let's take a step back and get bigger picture here. Well, what are your guys' hopes with the Malediction license? Are we looking at, like, down the line, obviously Tracy Hickman's involvement? Are we looking at novels, D&D or other TTRPG source books, other games in a Games Workshop-esque various scaled size? Like what are you guys hoping, or what are the wish list items kind of down the line? Knowing that none of this is a promise of what's to come. And you're a marketing manager. I know you don't want to back yourself into a corner here.
Yeah. No. I think our first goal is, like, since it's our first move into that universe, although we walk around it, like, let's see if our idea of a miniatures card game works. So let's see if it works. If people start playing the game, start enjoying the game like we hope they do, that's a win already. So we won the thing. But of course, we are still working on the game. We're working on expansions. We're working on more stuff for the game. And we do have a pipeline for 2025 that we will present, I believe, just after the campaign or at the end of the campaign. So we do have something really going on here. We're still working. The devs are working. We just made some play tests during this week with new cards. So this is something that we are doing already. Of course, when you create your own IP, the first thing you want to do is say, okay, I want more people to enjoy what we create, what's been created. So we do not have any plans apart from the game. But like you said, I'm a marketing guy. I always look and say, wait, what if we do some novels? What if we do some animation for TV? What if we do movies?
Opportunities are there.
What if we conquer the world? I mean, and beat everybody? out of it. What if we install Malediction on Earth? I mean, the goal. We always look at the horizon, but at the same time trying to give, solid steps on what we are walking through. So, like I told you, we are off the grid. We're in Brazil, and Brazil is not in the middle of the hurricane. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the U.S. and in Europe that are developing great stuff. I mean, take a look, for instance, Trench Crusade beat $5 million on the crowdfunding campaign as well. There's a lot of companies doing great games, great board games, and things like that. So, being able to join this group of people for us is already something amazing. Being able to present the game and see the success of the game is something that sometimes that I'm honest here. Sometimes we look at each other and say, it's really happening. I mean, it's so cool. It's a dream come true to be part of it and be able to give you and everybody else this vision of a world, this entertainment of playing the miniatures and doing all that stuff that we are creating here. So yeah, we do have plans. I have a inside joke here with my CEO Renato, and I come to him and say, "Hey Renato, we have this, and they say, Silvio, I need another body, and I need to clone myself to work on that." So I mean, okay, I understand that I'm going to keep it for a while, but next week you're going to come with another idea, and that's not just me. Everybody here comes to him or comes to everybody else. Hey, I have no idea. What do we do? This. It's great, but let's be honest. We need first to make the game happen. To make this,
of course, yeah.
People. I mean, I don't have to sell millions. I do hope, but we're not aiming like so high. We just want, okay, we're gonna pay the bills and have fun. So if we do that, that's already a victory. If we can go for more, it's amazing. I mean, everybody will be happy to have this opportunity to show the game.
Great. I mean, look, sky's the limit, right?
Yeah, sky's the limit.
Anything's a possibility. You've mentioned you guys' location in Brazil.
Yeah.
And look, as an American, I tend to feel as though a lot of these industries, especially sort of in the nerd culture sphere, tabletop gaming specifically, tends to kind of revolve around our market. What is sort of not just the industry from, the tabletop perspective, but what about just sort of nerd culture and that kind of stuff in general? What is that like in Brazil? As someone who's, worked in these larger companies and kind of seen the various sort of small pockets of nerd subculture around the world, like where are things similar, or where are things different in your eyes?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because we do have in Brazil a lot of professionals working in the industry. I mean, we have Jordi, who made a game that won a prize a couple of years ago. We had Felbarros, have a lot of people that are creating games for different companies that are Brazilian. We do have a good amount of professionals that are connected to this market. The thing is that Brazil doesn't have yet the culture of playing games. It started recently. You had the boom on the 70s and the 60s with RPGs in the US. You had the boom on Europe with board games. But here in Brazil, something started in late 90s and early 2000s. So now people are looking and say, hey, I can have fun with that. It's a hot country. Everybody wants to do outdoor activities. But now, hey, I can stay at home and play game and paint miniatures. For instance, we do have now one of the biggest geek game shows in the world, which is the Comic-Con experience.
Oh yeah, right.
It's huge. I mean, it's really, really big. I mean, I think it's bigger than Comic-Con now. We do have Diversão Offline, which is a specific convention for board games, and it's every time it happens, it's sold out. I mean, it's really, really full of people. So now we are changing, and now we are finding a place to stay under the sun and say, okay, we are here, we can do this, this, and that. There are people bringing games from abroad. The only thing is that the difficult thing here in Brazil for the players, it's that it's still very expensive and difficult to get games from outside here. So I want to buy things from Europe. It takes time. It's expensive. There's a lot of taxes and things like that. But I mean that's the way it is. We don't know how to change that. So this is something that holds a little bit the environment to develop more in here. But apart from that, I think we are the younger brother of the market. So we're showing right now. We're seeing around things, and it's really fun. I mean, it's really fun.
That's great. Is so the industry there is probably stronger than the market there, you think?
Yes.
It's interesting.
It is, yeah.
That's interesting.
So
why is that? I mean, is it just because it seems as though there is in that case in my head, and I'm speaking as a layman here, right? There would be more supply than demand in Brazil in such a way, right? I mean, you're looking to be more global here, but with the industry being stronger than the market, you are seeing more games being made out there, but the demand is only now just starting to catch up.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think that's the right way of thinking.
Framing. Yeah.
I'm thinking that because. Fun fact is, we do not have a language barrier. A lot of people here knows how to speak basic English.
That's
so
valid.
They understand. They can understand what's written on a card or what's written on a rule book. So it's easy for they. Of course, if we had things translated into Portuguese, the market would be 10 times bigger. But we do already have a group, a niche of people that play games. So it's something that it's not a solid barrier. We do have the need to have it Portuguese, but still we do have people playing the games in English. That's something it's always happened. So I think that only time will tell, but I think that we will evolve into a more mature market, a more solid market with time when people start being able to buy games and play games on a more constant flow. Now it's very expensive. So we're talking about currency. So it's for instance, $1 is £6. So it's six times more. So sometimes say, hey, I cannot buy. This is something that I will earn like my salary in games, so I cannot do that. But still, this is something that will evolve, and I do hope that we will find a solution soon. I mean, not find a solution, but the solution will emerge.
The market will evolve, and hopefully
exactly, yeah.
Accessibility. Because I mean, look, I live in New York City, and one of the things that I feel like has always been a problem here is. I had someone else on recently, and we're going to air that interview later, but they kind of describe New York as kind of a game desert in a way, in that sometimes there are food deserts. And the truth is that there is a lack of access for some of the poor communities here in New York to be able to discover these things. And maybe there's hobbyists who don't know they're hobbyists yet because they haven't had the exposure. And sometimes it's just about getting that word out there. We are getting towards the end, as loath as I am to say it, because I'm having an absolute blast with you here, Silvio. Before we go, I kind of want to look towards the future. You've been in the games industry for a long time. You've worked at, CMON. You're now here at Loot Studios. I believe you have some experience at CD Projekt Red previously before as well. Yes. You've been around this industry for quite a bit. As someone who's in charge of marketing, obviously it's your job to see what the industry and what the market needs. What trends are you seeing in gaming, and where do you see, especially the tabletop space, kind of going in the next couple of years?
What I see, apart from my experience, is that we're looking for games and experience that happens faster than before. So in the past, had those huge games with 1 hour setup, 3 hours discussing how it works, and then 6
4X
hours
exploration, whatever. Yeah, right.
And
Mission
then
Gas.
6 hours later, you were tired, your eyes are sore. So, oh my God, you have to throw dice and make calculations and dice plus 3 divided by 2 squared 5. So, and in Malediction, it's just one D20 roll. Okay, bang. So I see that we're going to that direction. Makes things easy to master, easy to learn, difficult to master. So the experience of you will count over the game. Not the game present themselves like a challenge at the first moment you open the box. So I see this as a trend. I see those indie games that I love and adore showing up and being able to present themselves to the market, thanks to you guys as well. So I see that it's gonna get smaller packages and more fun. You know what I mean? You don't have to have that huge 5 kilos of boxes open that set up and put everything on the table. Say, oh my God, I forgot this. No, you just clean setup, 5 minutes. Okay, learn the game. Boom, you're having fun. The 3D printing is also something that's amazing because it gives you the opportunity and the possibility to, hey, I want to print 3 pieces of game for this game. I don't have to, buy, boxes of plastic for use it one time only. So this is, the experience is getting better with that. We had the opportunity to be more creative in the shapes and design of things, and you can play it using that or not. It's your choice. I give you the tool to decide what's fun for you. I provide the game, but you are the final decision maker. Hey, I want to do this with this game. So this is
great.
I mean, the best thing for us as professionals to give you something that you are actually gonna, like you said, in a sandbox, you're gonna move around and do things and enjoy the process. So that's what I hope for the future. I mean, of course, there are gonna be games for everybody. I have friends that love those old games of Stalingrad Pocket that you have 4 hours of setup, tiny pieces.
Look, as someone who for some reason loves those games and can't find anyone to play them with me, like, I understand, I get it. There will always be a demand for that.
Pick me.
All right, great.
We're close. I go to New York.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, screw that. I go to Brazil. It sounds amazing. I've always wanted to go.
Please come. I mean, we love to get people here to show around. It's
once the sponsorship money starts coming in, I'll see if I can get a tour. We'll do a full tour video of your guys' office. It'd be amazing.
That's a deal.
I love it. Well, Silvio, man, thank you so much for hopping in. This was an absolute blast. Before I let you go, where can people find out more about Malediction? Again, we are trying to air this video on the same day that your guys' campaign goes live. So now is the perfect time to jump in and investigate.
So we can find everything about the game on our website, malediction.gg, and also on GameFound. You just browse Malediction, you're gonna find us there. Join the campaign, have fun with us. We have the print and play ready. We have the digital manual for download for you want to see how the game works. I mean, we're doing everything to make as comfortable and as easy as possible for you to join us and have fun with the game. So thanks for having me, Noah. It's a pleasure. Hope to see you again in the next convention around the globe.
I'll be hunting you guys down in your booth. Lord knows it's a good time to get your hand on what other things you guys print and put out there. Guys, thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the interview. Be sure we'll have all the links in the description below. You can go ahead and find me at Boss Monster Kaiju, just about every social media that I care to be a part of, minus a couple that. Until then, We enjoy your time. We had a great time here. Silvio, thank you so much for watching. For the rest of you, stay cool, stay hip, stay heavy. Good night.